With the Citi Double Cash Card, you get 1% cash back when you buy and 1% as you pay. That's like the joy of discovering the last donut.
Ooh.
And it has your name on it, literally, in chocolate sprinkly things.
No way.
Double the love with the Citi Double Cash Card. Apply now at Citi.com/doublecash.
So this is a Dolphin and Hurricane Monday, Stugotz. I can't believe that we find ourselves in this position where the Dolphins are straddling the top of the division.
Yeah.
Like, how, what? Wait, what? And then the Jets lose in the most Jets way possible, right? Like, you probably got scared.
Been watching that game my entire life,
But
Dan.
you as a Jets fan, up 28-14, you are, when Jay Cutler gets hurt, you're bummed out, right?
Of course.
Because you know Matt Moore is going to come in and do the sparky spark thing.
Yep.
And next thing you know, the Jets lose, and you would have been in here howling on top of the division. You're like 2 plays away the last 2 weeks from the Jets being like,
tied with the Patriots,
top 5 in the power rankings.
Yep, top 5.
Like the league's power rankings.
Yeah.
Woof. What is that happening?
I got a bad chest cold, guys. I apologize. It's been lingering for a couple of weeks, and it's just not going away. Caught it from one of my daughters.
I tell you something that I like, man.
I mean, Rachel, enough already.
Matt Moore throws the ball down the field more than Jay Cutler does. They did not have that. The Jets did not game plan for that. They did not game plan for throwing the ball down the field because the Dolphins weren't doing any of that. Now, Matt Moore is going to frustrate you because he's going to throw picks. He did it in that game. But he's going downfield.
He is, yeah, in a way that Jay Cutler just simply wasn't. Jay Cutler was playing fine in that game. I mean, he was 12 of 16 for 138 yards, but Matt Moore is good. It's boring. You're right.
It is.
Yes.
Jay Cutler football, even if it wins here, has been boring, which has been a surprise to me. But Gase is the Cutler whisperer because he got Jay Cutler to be boring.
Yeah.
He got Jay Cutler to not be Matt Moore. Stop throwing the ball down the field.
Correct.
Yeah, but back then it was boring for Jay Cutler. Now it's just boring.
I mean, but Cutler, to Dan's point, Cutler had 12 completions for 138 yards. Matt Moore had 13 completions for 188 yards. Like, he's just going down the field a bit more.
And the offense looked different. And so I want to talk to you about both the Hurricanes and the Dolphins. What happened with Jarvis Landry and a reporter? Did you guys read anything about this? Like, there was some video I saw and it looked like Jarvis Landry was pushing a reporter. I just can't believe Stugotz, and I believe it's an indictment of the league because I don't feel like the Dolphins are that good.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what their record says.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of people, I don't know if Dolphin fans would agree with you, but I think across the league, some Dolphin fans might be realistic enough to say, hey, I have no idea if my team's good, but I think across the league, no one's really taking the Dolphins seriously.
I think most people, right, they're an afterthought. The Dolphins, nobody thinks they're going to win the division. And then, who knows, right? The Patriots seem to have rectified themselves last night. Yeah. The Falcons are weird to me. It's so confusing to me. Is that all Shanahan? Is that Julio Jones isn't quite right? Like, how do you go? Shanahan leaves and all of a sudden they stink at offense? I don't understand what happened there.
Because all the pieces are still there. Every single one of them.
But the sport is so confusing to me because I did not trust Matt Ryan in any of those 3rd and long situations this year, and I trusted him in all of them last year.
Right.
And you're watching yesterday, and Tom Brady is still doing that thing where 3rd and 16 doesn't matter against him. Somehow a guy's always wide open.
Yep. He's still doing that thing, being great. I mean, he leads the NFL in passing yards.
But what I'm talking about is how they help him schematically in ways that I don't understand.
So you were confident in Shanahan's play calling last year is essentially what you're saying.
It wasn't based on anything other than the Falcons kept having success. Like the 3rd down and long kept not mattering against them. And now all of a sudden it matters against them again.
Yeah.
Where they're in 3rd and 11, you're like, oh, they're not going to get this. And before they're in 3rd and 11, you're like, oh, what difference does it make that they're 3rd and 11? They get 15 yards every time they throw the ball.
Correct. And that's changed with Shanahan not being.
But I don't know if it's Shanahan. I don't know if it's Julio.
Well, what else would it be?
Julio Jones might not be healthy. He's got 0 touchdowns. 0.
He just got his first of the season. He doesn't look as explosive, but he's still got such a big frame that you got to give him the opportunity to get a ball.
But I think this is one of the things that makes it confusing to me doing the measurements in that sport. I don't know how hurt these people are. I don't know when Julio Jones is going out there if the reason that he doesn't have 12 catches for 160 yards in this game is Kyle Shanahan or that his toe's not working right.
Right.
Sanu did tell us he's got half a toe.
And I find that perpetually frustrating about the watching of football. So now what happens? I got to root for Matt Moore to get hurt, right? Because then they got to go Kaepernick. If they're if they're in first place,
right? Well, I mean, there's still, Tony Romo's still out there. There's some. There might be another option or two I'm not thinking of before they get to Kaepernick. I'm not certain what it is.
But Stephen Ross might, if Stephen Ross hires him, right? The lawsuit has to go away.
Yeah. Yes, that's a good point. Yes, if he hires him, the lawsuit goes away.
Man, Colin, why'd you wear that damn Castro shirt, you dope? They might be able to sneak you in here if not for that.
That's what's at play here. That's absolutely what's at play. All the other teams are more afraid of the anthem kneeling and all that.
Yeah, that is not what the Dolphins are afraid of. They're not afraid of the anthem protest stuff. They're afraid of that damn Castro shirt. That's unbelievable. It's not a collusion lawsuit. Kaepernick's going to win the collusion lawsuit because they're going to rule that the Dolphins colluded, but not on the other stuff. That everyone else was colluding on the other stuff. The Dolphins were just on the
Castro shirt.
On the Castro shirt.
It's weird because now there's absolutely collusion. I think Colin sort of sealed his fate in terms of getting another job by suing all the other owners. So now there is absolutely collusion. Can't sign him now.
Matt Moore yesterday, was that not confusing to anyone else? Because it's as good as the Dolphin offense has looked all season.
Yeah, but that's what Matt Moore does, right? He comes in, he plays well for a game or two, and then he kind of flames out, Wait
a minute, Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is that what Matt Moore does? That's his move. He comes in, and he's just got a little bit of turbo in the Fast and the Furious car. He can come in, but then inevitably there's going to be an explosion on the 24-yard line. Football's going to come loose, and somebody's going to be running in the other direction. So he's just got a little turbo, and you don't know when it's going to expire.
Right. I mean, it happened last year. They had a couple of big wins, against Buffalo in overtime. They beat the Jets. They got to the playoffs, and then it flamed out.
Is that what Matt Moore does? Just comes in and gives you a wacky half, and then flames out.
He doesn't necessarily give off Nos Button because he's 33 years old, career backup.
Now, put that on the poll, Guillermo. Does Matt Moore give off Nos Button? Because, no, of course he doesn't. But Stugotz is also absolutely right.
You can have him like a power line that just dropped on the ground.
That's what he is.
But no, he's not. He's Matt Moore.
But he's Matt Moore. No, Mike's right and you're right. Yes. He comes in, gives you a wacky half. Whoa, we beat the Jets. Look out. And then you get to Pittsburgh in the playoffs. Oh, we lose 38-9. I was so excited. I didn't realize that it expired. The Matt Moore Nas button expired because you never know when it's going to expire.
Yeah, no, I know when it's going to expire. 2 weeks. It's done. I'll have a big game this week, and then in 2 weeks, the fans will turn on him and hate him. That's how it happens.
But then Jay Cutler will be back because his ribs will be healed. Perfect.
Yeah, they're good.
There. The Nas button. It's so stupid.
By the way, the Jarvis Landry reporter thing, Jarvis was just super pumped up with his post-game interview. He was talking to Peter Schrager. Is this Schrager?
You know what? I will, Jarvis. I will tell them to stop doubting you if in your next interview like that you drop in all the stuff we've been through this year, our offensive line coach doing blow off of a desk and sending it to a Nevada model, all that stuff that we had. You realize what we had to deal with. There was cocaine on the desk. Everybody in the office wanted that desk. We had to deal with stuff. There was a fight over everybody wanting that office for some reason.
When he asked what's going on in that locker room, if he simply responded, cocaine.
I mean, yeah.
He rattled off the symptoms of cocaine.
Yeah, he did. I love that they stopped doubting us. No, I'm going to go ahead and keep doing that.
Zebra steel pens are forged from grit. Like crafted swords from ages past, a Zebra steel pen feels good the second you pick it up. As you battle your way through the day, sitting at a desk or playing in the dirt, arm yourself with a tough Zebra steel pen. It's as reliable as a sunrise, because after all, a day without sunshine is like night. Pick up your Zebra steel pens at BJ's and other fine retailers. Now you've found Zen in your pen, and it's tough as steel.
Don Le Batard.
I have to get out of here. How do I do this without dropping names here? I have a dinner with Dan Marino.
Stugotz.
I guess there's no way to do it without dropping it in.
I have to go to dinner. Would have been fine.
This is the Dan Le Batard show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Guillermo, put this on the poll, please. Are you enjoying the Dwayne Wade box scores? Yes or no? Seeing a lot of 2 for 9 for 4 points.
Painful. And delightful.
Texter writes in, I got the U winning out and beating Notre Dame by 50. The U is back. Notre Dame is really good. Miami's not. There are 4 or 5 teams in the sport that have separated themselves, right?
I think so, yeah.
It is, and this is just nationally because I happen to still think that Central Florida and South Florida are better than Miami. I happen to still think that. Even though they're not playing anyone, it's the way that they're winning, right? The way that Miami's winning is something that creates hope. It creates excitement, but the way that they're winning doesn't seem sustainable.
No, it creates all those things, but it also leaves you with some doubt. It has to leave you with some doubt. Right? But that's going to be fun, Dan. Like Notre Dame's got NC State coming up this weekend. We'll see what happens there. But Notre Dame, Miami.
Yeah, but I feel like we know now. I feel like we've been watching this enough to know Alabama, that's real. Penn State, that's real. It's not that Penn State beats Michigan. It's you're watching the way they're beating Michigan. Now, they'll still be an underdog at Ohio State, but you're looking at it and you're like, okay, if you're able to run the ball and move the ball that way on Michigan, it seems like you're pretty legitimate at offense.
We're getting ahead of ourselves on that Notre Dame game. As fun as that's going to be, regardless of what happens here these next 2 weeks, the Virginia Tech game, Virginia Tech's looking really
but
good.
Notre Dame and Georgia look like the other two, where they played each other. Notre Dame lost to Georgia. Now you realize, that's because Georgia's also really good.
Correct.
And then there's just a second tier.
Like TCU and Wisconsin and teams like that.
Yeah. And Miami's the same kind of unbeaten that Wisconsin is. And that takes nothing away from the kind of unbeaten that Miami is. It's just that they are maxed out. They're maxed out, and it takes that maxing out to win by a play or two, and you're terrified of Syracuse's quarterback, kneeing your guys in the face and doing Tim Tebow stuff out there.
I fell in love with that kid over the weekend, man.
Mad respect.
Seriously.
It's weird. Rarely do I just respect the crap out of somebody that's just kicking me in the ass all game long.
That was amazing to watch him, looking for contact in secondaries and throwing knees at defensive backs.
Would you feel the same way if he won?
Yeah, that guy won me over.
Right.
To bounce back from, he started the game so poorly.
That's the part. The part that was impressive to me was that you've got to be bleeping kidding me. You come off that Clemson game where you confuse everybody because nobody's been able to stop Clemson's front four, and you're able to throw against them because you're a bad man. Then you come here and everything goes wrong, and you're having one of those disaster games. And at the end, you're still running around out there, bowling people over with confidence. Yeah, I was impressed by Dungy.
I agree with your take that they're maxing out, but it's kind of weird because they're maxing out right now, but we can all agree they haven't reached their ceiling. So it's a little bizarre because they got a lot of young players and they got a lot of injuries. You saw how much having Richards out there, even though he was clearly not himself, and those drops were bad.
But I keep waiting for that home blowout, Mike. I thought it was going to come this weekend. I keep waiting for it.
No, but Mike, they are doing what they're doing. Rick is doing a really good job of putting Rozier in these situations where the routes are so safe that he could go 20 for 32 for 230 yards because it's just easy crossing routes on read options. It's just slant. It's the screen passes. And every once in a while he goes downfield, but they are really protecting him in a way that has served everybody.
This Herndon screen, not a lot of people know that Herndon started over in Njoku last year. Herndon's a pro. And that bubble screen to Herndon is unstoppable.
And it's such an easy throw to make. And they put him in a position. How many times this is such a good thing to do for a quarterback who is not NFL ready. Read option, just watch the cornerback and watch your receiver. Read option, one route. I'm hitting the slant or I'm not hitting the slant. Maybe I'll go to my second one, but so often they're not even getting to the second one in the progression because it's just pull the ball out of the running back's stomach, throw it 7 yards. It's a really short throw, and your receiver has the inside with no linebacker there. It's a really good way to do it. I just don't know whether Notre Dame will allow you to do it.
Or Virginia Tech.
Yeah. That Notre Dame game especially, I know I said don't get ahead of ourselves, but the trenches battle, Notre Dame, Miami, because Notre Dame's not going to do what Syracuse says, which is exploit a weakness. Miami's weakness, if they have one on defense, is at secondary. Notre Dame can't throw. They are going to beat you up with their offense and defensive line, and Miami's defensive line is something fierce.
Well, here's what we've got here, right? Because a lot of people are objecting to what I'm saying because of USF and UCF's schedule. I don't feel like these people have watched either one of these two teams play this season. And you're just looking at a schedule and you're saying, what's UCF's best win? They beat Navy. Man, Navy's record has been a good deal better than Miami's the last 10 years.
Navy's good.
But I'm saying Navy, I don't know who you think you are, Miami. And the ACC conference has been weak. It's not as weak now, but it has been weak for a long time. And so don't come at me with Navy's opponents. Navy's been better than you for the last 10 years. So Miami really does think sometimes that there's something you haven't.
It's Miami.
No, but I'm saying you haven't even been Navy in disguise the last 10 years. So when I say UCF is better than you, that's not an insult. That take inventory of who you've been.
Right.
Yeah, UCF is damn good this year. Same with USF. I can't wait for that game. I wouldn't go as far as saying they're better than Miami because I'd like to see that game play out.
I would love to see Miami play either one of those two teams.
It'd be hard, and I don't know who'd win it at this point.
They play each other, UCF and
they'll probably
Florida.
Both be unbeaten when they play each other. But I'm telling you, when you watch those two teams play, Stugotz, if you get to watch those two teams play, those look like top-tier programs. I'm saying take the uniforms off them and just watch those.
But I understand why fans make that, how they draw that conclusion. They're looking at the schedule. It's UCF. We're Miami.
I know.
We have history.
No, but I get what they're doing. But what I'm saying to you is when Flowers drops back to pass for USF and throws it into the end zone, his receivers that are going to get it look like men and are playing like men. Miami's got a lot of receivers who look like men, but they're not going up and getting those balls at the top of routes where Flowers is just throwing them into a corner and your guy is just he's a pterodactyl compared to a cornerback. Miami's got guys who look like that. It doesn't have guys who played like that.
Right.
Richards might be that guy, but he hasn't been yet that guy this season.
The good news is all those receivers that look like that are freshmen and sophomores. Mm-hmm. So this team, yes, I would have loved to have put Syracuse away and not had that game experience at the end where I'm fearing Eric Dungy. Especially when it was 20-6, you'd like to finish somebody right away. But it's great to see that they're winning, even though they probably shouldn't be undefeated just by what we're seeing on the field. They're getting every single bit that they can.
It's not sustainable. They're gonna lose one of these games at the end close, and it's not going to be an indictment of them. It's just you can't keep winning these close games. Alabama can keep winning those close games because they're better than you are.
Unless you can.
I mean, okay, but I don't.
Maybe you can.
You got that hope.
At least they have the games at home, Dan.
I mean, you can hope.
And Canes fans are sitting there saying, hey, we just beat a Syracuse team that beat Clemson the week before, and they look at a team like USF, and they're like, what's the best win there? Yeah. I mean, they haven't played anyone.
No, I agree, but it's how they're beating people, Stugotz. Right. It's not just that they're beating people. It's how they're – I get it. You're right. They've played East Carolina. They've played what –
Stony Brook.
Yes.
San Jose State.
Miami hasn't played anybody either.
I have not seen a team. Mike, what was that stat you sent me about South Florida? There hasn't been a team in a long time scoring 30 points a game as often as South Florida is doing it. It's been a while since a team has started to put up those point totals consecutively in a game where they never get held under 30. Also, by the way, because I was watching South Florida this weekend, the Wave, they were playing against Tulane.
The Green Wave,
yeah, Tulane.
That emblem for the Green Wave is the baddest emblem in sports. Have you seen?
Yeah, they went retro.
I had not seen it before. An angry wave with a face is, I believe, put it up there on the poll, Guillermo, is the angry wave of the Tulane Green Wave, the best emblem in sports.
Yeah, they went retro with their logo. It looks pretty cool. By the way, Toledo, good team. They keep winning. They may run the table. That's South Florida stat. In the AP polls history, it's been around for 81 years, no team has scored more consecutive games, 30 points.
And how many are they
30
at?
points. No team has had this many consecutive games. Let me click the ad. They're at 24 consecutive games.
Part of it is
points.
The competition. I will grant you that, Stugotz, because it's a very weak conference. But also part of it is they throttle people. If they played a clean game, because they're a sloppy team, but they're so much more athletic than these teams that they're playing. If they played a clean game, they'd be putting up 80 and 85 points.
They beat Syracuse?
I think so. Yeah, I think they're a good deal better than Syracuse.
I mean, Middle Tennessee State beat Syracuse. Syracuse is a weird team. They sort of played to the level of their competition, and thankfully that turf was really ugly on Saturday.
If Miami played at home, Miami was a 17.5-point favorite this weekend against Syracuse. If Miami played at home against South Florida or Central Florida, 3 points max on the point spread.
UCF kind of scoring the
they score a ton too.
Same way, right?
Yeah, yeah. I would say that's less than a touchdown line. Oh, I would agree with you there. Both UCF and USF.
But what I'm saying is I'm not offending anybody. Like a lot of UM fans get it.
They're offended then.
But I'm saying there's nothing. You shouldn't be.
They are.
Those two teams aren't they both in the top 15 now? Like, I'm basically saying to you that the difference between 8 and 15 isn't very much. Like, aren't South Florida and Central Florida both in the top 15 today?
I mean, these polls are crock anyways.
I'm checking right now.
These polls are an absolute crock.
South Florida's at 17, UCF is at 18.
That's no insult, man.
Well, and in another poll, South Florida, so hold on, in the coaches poll, South Florida is in the top 15.
Oh, don't get me started on the coaches poll.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about that.
That coaches poll is absurd.
And UCF is 17, yeah.
Ban it.
Yeah.
Stupid.
It is stupid.
Why do you guys get insulted by the idea that South Florida or Central Florida might be as good as you, given that that UM is young and those teams are older? That South Florida's got a senior quarterback, that those teams are older.
Because they're new programs and you're the U. You have 6 national championships. Yeah, I said 6.
Mike, they used to be the U. They used to be the U, and they're trying to get back there.
They're building back to it, and that's what I'm so stoked about. These kids are learning how to win. We have a very self-aware coach that knows that we're not that good, that wants us to be better. And if we somehow remain undefeated, get past that Virginia Tech hurdle, which is good, we're at home. I actually think we match up great with Notre Dame. That game is going to be so lit.
Do you? You think they match up great with Notre Dame?
Yeah,
that team is good, man. Notre Dame is good, Mike.
I understand, but they can't throw. That's where we're weak. Their offensive line is used to bullying defensive line. Come bully this offensive line, because we got a damn good defensive line.
Cocky Cane fan.
We match up well with them. We can be the fraudy team that wins that game.
Stugotz, I was very confused that Syracuse was able to block Clemson and not Miami. I did not understand what I was watching. Clemson's front four looked to me like the baddest thing.
Why would college be different than the NFL? We don't know. Like, we're not paying attention. We don't know if if someone was hurt last week for Clemson. We don't know if someone was nicked up a little bit. We don't know what happened this week. We just don't know.
I'm not going to pretend I watched the game, but I listened to people that did watch that game, and what they said about Clemson's defensive line was once they weren't getting much from their offense, and keep in mind they missed a couple kicks too. That defensive line, as menacing as they were playing at that dome on that fast surface, and they could not keep up with Syracuse's pace. They tired them out. Our defensive line could keep up with that pace.
Mm-hmm. I saw a play yesterday, Stugotz, that I couldn't believe, and it made me mad at the Dolphins for wasting Ndamukong Suh's healthy time here.
Right.
You watched that game yesterday.
I watched the second half of that game.
Okay. There was a play at the goal line. I don't even know how to explain what it is I'm about to explain to you. It's a forgotten play. The Jets scored on the next play. It doesn't matter. Did anyone else notice this? Because I couldn't believe the strength that I saw. So I'm going to try and describe this to you.
Okay.
So it's a goal line play, and Ndamukong Suh is headed into the backfield and is at the wrong angle as the running back runs through a hole untouched near him, and it looks like it's going to be an easy touchdown at the 1 yard line because there was a hole there and because Ndamukong Suh's angle was bad. He stuck out his right arm and grabbed an NFL running back that had an opening and was headed forward by the right shoulder jersey, stopped him and threw him on the ground. At the wrong angle with just his right arm, an NFL running back was stopped in his tracks and fell on the ground just because of this guy's hand. They've wasted that. Like, that's been, they have not been able to build around that in a way that wins games.
Can you really call a Jets running back an NFL running back?
Fair enough. Fair enough. A human being shaped like a running back, the size and weight of a running back, but less fast and less strong.
He wouldn't have been able to do that to Eric Dungy.
Exactly. Probably wouldn't have been able to do it to Todd Gurley either. But yes. But I was. Did anyone else notice this? Because my mouth was hanging open.
Yeah, it looked like a bear paw. It looked like a bear paw.
It's like an adult would throw down a 6-year-old.
Yeah, he was a revenant bear.
There's a texter saying he grabbed them with a finger.
It might have been a finger. He tackled he pulled an NFL running back with the momentum at a bad angle. And it's a winning play, right?
Yes.
That totally gets forgotten and had nothing to do with the game because they scored on the next one. But they wasted so much of that in Ndamukong Suh.
That's got to be so scary, right? I know you're all professionals and you reach the height of the sport, but you need to get a yard. And Ndamukong Suh is above the ball, looking at you, coming to kill you. It has to be terrifying for anybody opposing him, right?
Any human being. Yeah. Because
even the Patriots, even Brady.
Oh,
it has to be terrifying.
It's just and Miami's wasted it is what I'm saying. It has been healthy here. It has been something that is that kind of strong and dominant.
I love that you're calling him it.
That creature. Yes. That needs to be tested for alien life form, not for drugs. Like, he's got his arms are thighs.
They have that and Cam Wake coming at you. It's a bummer that they haven't been better. Because Cam Wake's older up there. You feel like you've wasted those primes.
Well, does it make you wonder what this team would be like with Tannehill?
A little bit. I'm falling for that. I think it'd probably be 4-2.
I've seen those.
I think so too.
Wait a minute. I've seen those two guys play with Tannehill, and I've seen what that looks like too. The defense should be better. The team should be better. But Cam Wake had one of these plays yesterday. Josh McCown rolls to his right, and Cam Wake is such a predator. He is such an extraterrestrial that Josh McCown rolls to his right and thinks he has time because it's a bootleg with time. And Cameron Wake takes one step and does the wingspan thing. And Josh McCown, instead of just taking it and throwing it out of bounds, which he could have done, just sort of froze and was like, oh, my God, that thing is so big and wide and athletic, and I'll just sit down here 12 yards away from where I was. Like, it was one step, but he was like, I've got time. Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah, he did like the Dilophosaurus noise in Jurassic Park.
That is what he heard. That is what he heard. I want to do that. I want to reenact that. All right. I'm Josh McCown, and this is what I'm thinking. Okay, naked bootleg. I'll just roll around the right. I got two run pass options. It'll be real easy here. I know Cam Wake's over there, but he can't possibly get here this fast.
You can always count on Bud Light, just like you can always count on Tailgate Terry. Without Tailgate Terry, you wouldn't have cold Bud Lights and 7-layer dip at every pregame. That's 56 layers per season. Just the right amount if you ask Terry. Tailgate Terry is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, 80 St. Louis, Missouri.
Don Le Batard.
Seriously, like how many times have I told you that it's perfectly okay to criticize somebody's behavior, but that calling people names is not the way to go?
Stugotz.
How many times have I told you I don't care?
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Texter writes in, this Dolphin defense has been really good this year. Dan has no idea what he's talking about. Did I say it wasn't good? I'm saying that they're wasting the careers of Suh and Wake, that Suh and Wake have been elite players, and the team around them is never good enough to do anything, and it's not good enough this year either.
Nothing wrong with what you're saying there.
I understand what that, because there was a time there the defense was bad, and you were talking about it as a whole, but they were bad yesterday. They could have been a lot better.
No, and last year, it's been a good defense this year. They've been good, top 10 defense this year, but last year they allowed a whole lot of rushing yards. They've just wasted. What I'm telling you is Ndamukong Suh has been healthy the entire time that he's been here. He is as elite a menace as that league has ever seen. And Oakland has been doing this the last couple of years with Khalil Mack. You don't waste that kind of elite strength and power in that league. You do some winning with it.
You do, yeah. They are 6th right now, tied for 6th in points per game given up. I mean, that's pretty good, Dan.
Detroit wasted the Suh stuff, too.
Yep.
But if you have Suh and Cameron Wake and Olivier Vernon, you should be winning. Like, if that's your defensive line.
Right. you should do some winning.
You should be somebody that other teams in the league fear, which the Dolphins haven't been for 15 years.
No, but the offense hasn't been. Well, I shouldn't say that because the defenses with those three were not exceptional, right? They just weren't. I was going to blame it on the offense, but the defense, when they had those three, they weren't very good either.
The texter writes in here, Dan, I believe the Dolphins are wasting your career. Yeah, man, our career blew up with the big three.
Yep.
The Dolphins are also wasting our career.
Although that 1-15 might be the best year we've ever had.
That was glorious.
The best year ever.
They didn't waste it that year.
Right.
That's it. That was our Super Bowl, that 1-15 season, and the Wanstash years were pretty glorious as well.
Yes.
But since then, they've just become boring.
Right.
It's not even like they're laughably frustrating.
Now, yesterday was exciting.
Yes.
That was exciting.
Yes, it was a good game.
Yes.
It was a weird game because you wouldn't expect either of those teams to score that way. And one of the frustrating things about the Josh McCowns of the world is they will look serviceable. There'll be some throws. You're like, that was confident. There'll be some physical strength. You'll be like, that's amazing. And then inevitably it's going to end. He's going to get hurt or there's going to be a disaster play.
Yep.
Where you're like, what was he thinking? What was he doing? Every throw, the 7 throws before that were pinpoint.
Was just waiting around for it.
As a Browns fan, I miss Josh McCown because I miss that experience because there's so many times, man, if we just got him when he was in his 20s.
He is so, it's weird.
This is what he was in his 20s.
I know,
but he's so close.
He's right. He seems like he's close. 7 out of 8 throws. But that 8th one.
It's a killer.
Oof.
So frustrated.
I'll tell you what's frustrating if you're a Dolphin fan, and this is what's great about that league week to week, that your feelings change from half to half. Like the first half of Atlanta was as low as this franchise has been this year, and now here we are a couple of halves later, and we're not that far removed from the Jets converted a 3rd and 19 on a screen pass yesterday. And if I had checked in with you then as a Dolphin fan, how do you feel about everything that's happening here? You would have mother bleeped this team for the last 15 years right out of your life.
When was that play? The 3rd and 19?
It was 3rd and 19. They threw a screen pass, and what was that? Was that the third quarter or the second quarter?
I just know that as the Jordan Phillips play.
No,
everyone, I never heard of the guy, and all I see on my timeline is Jordan Phillips.
I'm only asking because my friend texted me 3rd and long, screen pass, Jets converted, I'm out of here. Left the stadium.
Well, here is another text. Yes, a lot of people were done there. A texter writes in, they made the playoffs last year and are 4-2 this year. They're 13-4 over their last 17 games. How much more winning do you want? More?
Yep.
Yeah, more.
Yeah, more. Yeah.
Don't do this. Look, this is creative math right here. This one. They're 13-4 over the last 17, and that's right. Their record over the last 17 games is as good as the Patriots and the Chiefs. But there's a reason you chose 17 games instead of 18.
Yep.
And instead of 19.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of 20.
That's right. Look at the Patriots last 20.
Like 17's a weird number to throw at us.
Look at the Patriots last 100.
17, though, is a weird number. Check out the Miami over the last 17. You're doing that because you manipulated the math. Like, why 17, sir?
Fits the argument.
Why? I want to know. Let's dig down here. Not 16. Which is what a season lasts. And if they were 13-4 over this 17-game season, if that's how the NFL decided to start doing it beginning today, we're going to go in and check in with the last 17, then I would announce that the Dolphins are first round of the playoffs good. I would be willing to make that.
Wow.
Yes.
Big.
That team right there, if we just change the entire schedule and make it the last 17 games, that team is losing at home after a first-round bye. Steelers are coming in here, and Antonio Brown's going to have 200 yards.
Yep. Le'Veon Bell. It's ridiculous. Like, they beat the Falcons. You talk about the Falcons game, but we have no idea if the Falcons are good. Like, that was an impressive win, but now I don't know if the Falcons are good. I have no idea.
Well, but that's when you mentioned it earlier about, like, the opponents that Central Florida and South Florida have had, how about the opponents Miami has had? Do you realize that the best team, the most valuable win on Miami's schedule is over a team that now has 4 losses? A road game at FSU. That team now has 4 losses.
Right.
And everyone beats them there. Everyone who's gone in there this year has beaten them.
Won a home game.
They're so close, though.
But I'm saying that's the best team Miami's beaten this year is a 4-loss FSU team. That's the most impressive victory on your schedule.
But we established that you could throw out the records before they met, so that doesn't count.
Right out the window.
I'm not doing this thing where I'm just trying to go the other way and be the fan, but I'm serious here. We have been starving for good football from the Canes and the Dolphins for years now. We just talked about it, and the Canes are sitting here with 2 big home games coming up and a chance to make it to the ACC championship game, and the Dolphins are 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
And we're picking it apart. I understand why we're doing that, but it is exciting when you compare it to the last decade of football down here.
Miami's got one of the nation's longest winning streaks, 11 games. If that's not the top, it's tied or close to it.
But please separate it, Stugotz, because we're only a half away from, the last 3 halves of football have totally changed the way we're viewing the Miami Dolphins.
Of course.
Last 3 halves.
Right, but that's the NFL for many teams.
No, but the 3 halves before that looked completely hopeless.
Awful.
Hopeless, like their offense is not functioning. Why is their coach defending their quarterback? Get Jay Cutler out of here. Like, that's weird. It's weird that we spike like that. It's not even from game to game anymore. It's from half to half.
But we were right on the whole Cutler-Matt Moore thing. I say as fans. I'm not a Dolphin fan, but fans were right on that. Matt Moore's better for this team than Jay Cutler.
Well, wait a minute. No, see, I wouldn't. You were right yesterday.
You'll be right next week.
Okay,
and then he'll flame out.
I'm worried about future turnovers with him. I'm worried about something that looks like the Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, but we've done this with Gase before. Remember Jay Ajayi? He was suspended that first game. Arian Foster was your starting running back. You luck into Jay Ajayi, and now maybe Adam Gase is getting lucky again.
Gase was happy with the ribs, right? Secretly, deep down inside.
Well, that's the only way that he could do it. That's the only way he could do it.
No
to
quarterback questions this week.
Wait a minute, you guys are making it so that Gase secretly prefers for Cutler
to get hurt. Yeah.
So he doesn't have to bench him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there was
that
definitely
injury won't hurt as much as me breaking his heart.
Yes. I mean, Dan, there was definitely a conversation when Jay decided to come out of the booth, leave Fox to come play for the Dolphins, where Jay said, "Listen, I'm coming here to start 16 games. There's no circumstance where you're going to bench me," and Gase agreed to it. I'm convinced of that. So Gase was, yes, there was a fist pump inside of his body. He did not show it to anyone, but inside he has a fist, and it was pumping because he was happy that Jay Cutler's ribs were broken.
He can't bring himself to do the pulling of Jay Cutler on his own. So he is just rooting for an injury.
No doubt.
So someone makes the decision for him. He's praying that entire, please, God, 1 rib, 2 ribs, please, yes.
A texter writes in, Matt Moore will run the table 14-2, and then I will make sure he poops right on your desk. You know what? I'll let him. Those are the stakes. If Matt Moore runs the table, I will let him poop on my desk. Those are the stakes. I've announced it. Put it on the ESPN scroll.
What makes you think Matt Moore wants to do that?
Well, a very good point.
We'll reach out to him.
Very good point by Stu guys. Something of a blind spot there I had.
Allison,
wait, I get to poop on Dan's desk? Whoa.
It'd be a bad look for him if he said yes to that.
What kind of power does this person have that they think that they will make sure he poops right on my desk?
He knows a guy.
Who has that kind of power? Because Stugotz totally brought up something that I was unaware of. I thought it would be some great reward for Matt Moore to be able to go 10-0 the rest of the way, and then we'd welcome him here as a hero. All right, Matt, get up on the desk and just crouch right over, and we'll televise it.
What a crappy prize.
No!
Yes.
No!
He's so funny. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, hilarious.
It doesn't deserve that.
Funny.
Yes, it did.
By the way, USF has the nation's longest win streak, 12 games. Miami right behind with 11.
Speaking of the aforementioned, Gabby Union. She was trending over the weekend. Allison, are we getting Gabby Union on? I know I asked you like a week ago or 2 weeks ago before this. I wanted to talk to Gabby Union.
Allison doesn't think so.
She mad at me about all the Dwayne stuff?
Oh, man.
Well, how do I explain what it is? Do you know why Gabby Union was trending this weekend?
No.
Oh, no. Don't tell him, says Roy.
They're telling you to keep it away from me. I mean, I do have the internet here, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna
on a corporate PC.
Yeah, don't do it.
Okay.
I love her, man. I love everything about that woman.
I was about to type it in. Are you guys telling me not to?
She was just super revealing.
Well, but was she, though? Because she seems to have walked it back
without a full denial, Dan.
She didn't say specifically.
Yeah, she was talking openly about sex. And she doesn't like how aghast we've become about a strong woman talking openly about sex. But she was talking so openly about sex that I could see where Dwayne Wade might not have wanted some of that revealed. Go ahead and do a search for that, Stugotz.
I'm there. Whoa!
You can always count on Bud Light, just like you can always count on Tailgate Terry. Without Tailgate Terry, you wouldn't have cold Bud Lights and 7-layer dip at every pregame. That's 56 layers per season. Just the right amount if you ask Terry. Tailgate Terry is famous among friends. He deserves a Bud Light. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, 80 St. Louis, Missouri.